History has not always belonged to everybody, and so it's important for us to make sure that everybody feels that they are remembered, that they are part of history, because they are. Michelle Caswell talked about how when you don't see yourself represented in the historical record, it's called symbolic annihilation. It's like you didn't exist, you were never there. And so she coined this term and this idea of archives creating representation of belonging through showing people basically themselves in the archival record. And like the tenets of that are, when you see yourself in the historical record, it tells you, I was here. You see people like you in the past, it tells you that I am here. You see people like you still exist. If they existed then, they exist now, right? And then it tells you that I belong here. Tasks I do a lot at the university as I complete research requests. People will send in things they might want to know. Hey, I need a baptismal record because I want to get married in a Catholic church and I need my baptism record. I want to see like a photo of myself as a sports player from this year. Marketing will come in and want information about things in the past. So I get to work on a lot of interesting projects. So one of my duties is I'm the director of the Old Castle Museum. Old Castle is the place where Baker University got its start in 1858. When Baker started, that was the very first building where classes were held. So it's also got a rich history of being this building that was a lot of different things before it became a museum in the 1950s, and that's what it's been ever since. I create the exhibits, I do the outreach, the tours. I also oversee student workers or interns who do things there as well. It's a great way for archives to get material into the eyes of people, because a lot of times it's put away into boxes and on shelves, but when you put it out, people actually get to see it and they can connect with history and understand the importance of these documents, but also see things that are cool and interesting and rare, and hopefully they will connect to them in some interesting way. That's another part of my job, is to tell people the stories of the things on Baker University. I love to tell the story of the gym and Lake Parmenter over and over and over again. That's my favorite one to tell. So every time when I'm walking around a campus, I feel like I get to tell people something interesting that they may not know about these places that they're in all the time, and they just have no idea the history of the buildings or the people here. So I think it's just really a cool kind of interesting place to just walking around. Beyond just the Baker University archives, we also house the Kansas United Methodist Archives, and these are materials related to closed and disaffiliated churches, as well as just general Kansas Methodist history, and some beyond that too. When there was the vote to be slavery or anti-slavery state, a lot of Methodist ministers came to Kansas to promote anti-slavery. The university was founded by a lot of these Methodists. They voted to start Baker University as a place, and this was part of their idea and their ideals. And today I think that's something that together we can all push towards. What's important about a place like archives is, in an era where it's so easy to have access to disinformation, having access to primary sources, however flawed they are, I think it's important to have these because they are still the most reliable, because a primary source is created usually by a person very close to the event. Having access to these are really important in an era where it becomes harder and harder to actually discern truth. The things that you and I do today will eventually be history, which I don't think people often understand. They think I'm not important, I don't matter. But that's not true, because 100 years from now, somebody will be looking at the things that we did, whether it was just a paper that I wrote, an activity that I attended, a photo of me, that will still speak to people in the future. And I think that's what I really hope people understand about history, is it's not just a bunch of trivia that you learn. It actively happens and we influence it. It's important for us to understand that the actions that they have do matter, and that they will eventually become history.